Good morning, everybody. This is Misty Hale, and I'm going to be bringing you your Arkansas Daily Update today for Monday, September 8th, 2025. Let's dig in. The Arkansas Department of Corrections is unsurprisingly ditching Zoom as its platform after its August 1st meeting was hijacked in maybe the worst way possible. Hackers cut into the live stream of the meeting twice, with blaring music, racial slurs, swastikas, and, close your ears if you don't want to hear this, a graphic video of a black man masturbating. Now, as you might imagine, the stream was quickly shut down, but the damage was already done. Officials never figured out who actually did it, but it's the kind of Zoom bombing that's become all too common at public meetings. So to avoid a repeat, the Department of Corrections is moving its business over to Microsoft Teams, which it feels like will be a bit more secure. All right, some sports news. The Arkansas Razorbacks and the ASU Red Wolves finally faced off for the first time ever on Saturday, and the game really wasn't that close. Arkansas rolled past Arkansas State 56-14, and Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is already lobbying to make that a yearly tradition, sending letters to both schools pushing for it to become permanent. Now, of course, the game was played at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, which is now a part of the Arkansas State Park system, hence some benefit to the state for that game to be held there. In some political news, the fight over the Franklin County prison site is heading to the Capitol. On Tuesday, opponents will get their shot to argue their case in front of lawmakers. A local group called Gravel and Grit from Franklin County filed a formal complaint asking for a full investigation into the project. They turned that complaint in back in July with a petition that had more than 1,200 signatures attached to it. Now, the complaint raises all kinds of issues, from how the site was picked to the messy firing and subsequent rehiring of Corrections Secretary Joe Porfiry, though in a different position, and even looking at how the whole thing is being funded. So if you're interested in that, lawmakers are set to take that complaint up in the Joint Performance Review Committee on 1 p.m. Tuesday in Room A of the MAC building there on the Capitol grounds. It's been a rough stretch for some high-profile hires in Arkansas. In Little Rock, Stephen Baker, who was brought in last summer to run the Clinton National Airport, he has already been put on paid leave. The Airport Commission spent hours behind closed doors before making the move, and they aren't saying why. Now, Baker, if you'll remember, had stepped into that role after the shocking death of his predecessor, Brian Malinowski, who was killed during a raid on his home by ATF agents in 2024. Now, Baker's salary was $275,000 a year. Meanwhile, up in Fayetteville, the city's brand new tourism chief, Ryan Houck, is also on leave after just 6 weeks on the job. The A&P Commission for Fayetteville met for 6 hours before announcing the decision last week, again without offering details other than that it's non-criminal in nature and that it's an internal personnel matter. But what stings even more about this is the city had paid a Florida consulting firm more than $60,000 to find Houck, who was supposed to make $180,000 a year. A 72-year-old Ozark man is recovering after a rare bear attack in Franklin County. That is the first attack reported in Arkansas in decades. Wildlife officials have said that Vernon Patton was working with his tractor near the pig trail in the Mulberry Mountain area up in the Ozarks on September 4th when a young black bear weighing about 70 pounds mauled him. Patton suffered serious injuries to his head and arms. He underwent surgery in Fayetteville, and he was later transferred to UAMS in Little Rock. Patton's son thankfully happened to be nearby. He witnessed the attack, scared off the bear, and called for help. Game wardens responded, and they ultimately shot and killed the bear. Officials with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission called the incident highly unusual, noting that while bear encounters are common in the state, attacks like this are virtually unheard of. And finally, it is ALC week. That is the monthly meetings of the Arkansas Legislative Council. We'll be keeping an eye on all of those meetings and bringing you what happens there that's of interest. All right, that's it for today. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Thanks for listening.